If you don't take too kindly to having your corporate lords and masters purge all your favorite political content off the web, go to Steam It, follow me, and upvote all my posts there. Thank you. Mike Bluehair here, co-founder of Film the Police Portland. I knew this day was coming because I've heard all the horror stories about mass demonetization of political content on YouTube. So I was reviewing my channel today, like I do about once a day. I check in and see what's going on, and I noticed that a full page of my videos had been demonetized. So that was kind of odd, so I decided to continue looking down the row. To give my fans and supporters out there an idea of what's going on with me economically, I have to take you back to something called the YouTube ad apocalypse. Basically, the short of it is that YouTube effed up and allowed corporate media ads to be played beside videos of ISIS recruitment and videos of, Islamic jihadists tossing homosexual people off of roofs and beheadings and mass executions and stuff like that. So all of a sudden, the Wall Street Journal published an article about it, and hundreds of advertising companies dropped YouTube for their corporate advertising, and YouTube decided to bend over and just give the corporate advertisers a smorgasbord of everything they wanted. Well, thing is, corporate media, especially corporate news, have been getting its ass handed to them by alternative journalists for nearly a decade now. So this has been their way to destroy any kind of alternative media that challenged their hegemony, especially economic hegemony, over what is produced. So us small content creators along the web are just getting effed up. Okay, a lot of the stuff that's been demonetized, and I stopped counting at 450. Okay, I only have 1,700 videos. My videos, all these yellow dots you see on the screen here, if it's got a yellow dot beside it, my work has been demonetized. You see this yellow warning thing here. Okay, so let's go through some of these, all right? Let's have a peek here. Scrolling down, looking for something that they demonetized so I can tell you about it. This is a series of Antifa shutting down a march against Sharia. The same stuff that the news covered in their news cycle. I covered it. I'm sure corporate media sold lots of tampons and, packages of Jiffy Pop and toilet paper and cookies and potato chips from their covering of this. Okay, so this is a video called Decoding Neo-Nazi Symbolism at the March Against Sharia March. No cursing in this video whatsoever. It was just me talking about the symbol 88 and its neo-Nazi significance and basically what it means to racist groups, because this whole, topic of race and Antifa versus alt-right is very prominent in corporate media and as well as online and in the smaller internet media outlets. So I decided to discuss that a little bit. So see all these yellow dots? These are all videos that have been demonetized of mine. Okay, I am literally being starved off the internet. So I would appreciate it if you would go from my YouTube channel when you're watching this, go to Steam It and sign up. It's free. You can support my work monetarily without having to actually give up any of your own money. Okay, this is ridiculous. YouTube decided that this video, okay, kids fighting is in the title, yes, but basically I arrived on the scene doing my cop watching bit, and I interviewed these kids as to what happened. Turns out that 2 girls were in a fight, and 1 girl had to be transported by emergency medical personnel to the hospital. Very, kit glove stuff, not intense or not violent or not graphic, and no expletives were used in that video, but it was demonetized. Here's another one. My friend Julian Reyes, another police accountability activist, was actually arrested for trespassing in a parking lot by a cop punitively. This cop targeted Julian, okay, and arrested him for, get this, trespassing in a parking spot he actually paid for, and he showed the cop his parking ticket as validation, yet they still decided to put Julian in jail, actually in jail, for trespassing in a parking spot he actually paid for. Absolutely ridiculous. So, the corporations are winning. I should have diversified out in the things like WePay years ago, but I figured, if this advertising, see all this whole row, just all yellow, 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 just demonetizing my stuff, just economically destroying me. Okay, this is I've put 5 years, more than 5 years of my life into cop watching, co-founding Film the Police Portland, training people, doing Know Your Rights trainings, starting other chapters of Film the Police Portland in other cities. And, like I said, the corporations, the major news outlets especially, have been getting their asses handed to them for years by the collective us, all of us. Oh, I guess law is no substitute for morality. Yes, I am an anarcho-capitalist or anarcho-libertarian. I guess that sentiment is considered, not advertising friendly. Okay, this is ridiculous. This video is called fireworks thrown at police. There's no expletives in the video, no extreme graphic language, no extreme violence. In fact, corporate media covered this news story when it happened, and I'm sure they were allowed to sell lots of, market share of advertising beside their work, but I'm out here risking getting shot with less lethal. This night, I was actually shot in the arm by this weapon this officer is aiming with a high-intensity beam flashlight on the front of it. It's called an FN-303. It accelerates a rubberized or pepper powder filled sting ball with CO2 gas. It's kind of like a paintball gun on steroids. There's another close-up of it. I actually risk being hurt. I was shot in the arm right in a freaking funny bone as I was walking away from these cops that night. So I guess if you're covering civil unrest, if you're, criticizing law enforcement or this culture of slavish obedience to the state and statism, you are no longer going to be able to make a living on YouTube. Just ridiculous. Okay, moving on to other things. Let's look at some of the other stuff that doesn't qualify for being monetized on YouTube. See, yellow, 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 all demonetized, all demonetized. Just more tyranny. And I'm not the only one, man. Everybody else out there, especially if they're edgy at all or politically at all, are just getting destroyed economically on YouTube. Okay, so law is no substitute for morality. I've already covered that. Okay, this is a video entitled Portland Police Trample the First Amendment. If you look very closely, this is my friend Dax Cazotto's video, but I uploaded it on my channel to highlight it. You can see in the center screen, if you back up, you'll be able to see it. I'll scoot the video back a little bit. Let's see. Or forward. Let's see where it is. Oh, yeah. Well, you'll see in a minute this woman being knocked over, just shoved to the ground by one of our RRT squad here in Portland, or a rapid response team, just pile drive to the ground. There's just a lot of violence, of the police. There it is. I'm circling it. Watch the police just shove this woman to the ground. Like, she's no threat to that guy in riot gear. Just boom, just square on her back. If you're covering this kind of stuff where our quote unquote police that are beyond reproach, the gods in our society, if you're criticizing power, you are no longer going to be able to support yourself on YouTube with advertising. Just this whole bending over for the corporate advertisers that YouTube saw fit to do because of their mistake in the first place. They're the ones that effed up and allowed corporate media's our corporate ads to run beside content of, racist content and ISIS videos and beheadings and all that stuff. Why should that be incumbent upon me to pay for YouTube and Google's corporate mistakes. Just absolutely ridiculous. Moving on, let's check out some more of my channel and see what's considered not worthy of advertising. Okay, burning the Trump flag. Corporate media, which was standing right beside me, ran this on TV and made money from advertising from it. The only difference between me and them is the fact that I'm a lowly anarcho-capitalist, anarcho-libertarian, voluntarist, whatever the hell you want to call me. Yeah, I'm sure they sold plenty of market share of advertising on this. The decisions of Google and YouTube is a wish list to stack the odds against people like myself. This is absolutely ridiculous. Anarchists holding up a sign saying we are ungovernable. I like that idea, the idea of no state. Maybe some of these anarcho-communist kids on the street might have a different way of going about their anarchy. You know, personally, I think we should keep government away from our economics and we would have a freer society because people could actually interact and interface in a real free market and yada, 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 crap. You know, sorry, don't want to turn this into an ANCAP rant. I just want to keep going through this. Moving on. Okay, here's one. Lovely. Okay, no audio in this video whatsoever. Not sure these two words go together. Liberty tax. I was talking about taxation being theft. That's it. No curse words. I don't see how this is not advertising friendly. There's no audio, like I said. It's just me talking about the fact that taxation is theft, which anybody with more than a room temperature IQ knows this fact. All right, moving on. You know, I was satisfied with just a few cents per video from YouTube because I busted my ass over the last almost 6 years and produced hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of anti-authoritarian, anti-police state media. And I don't care whose side you're on, left versus right. When I cover these things, I'm just about police accountability. So this is, please don't shoot me. It's just a camera. This is a video where I was covering some of the civil unrest just after Trump's inauguration in Portland. It was about a week of riots or protests that were near riotous, where there's, you know, lots and lots of property destruction. That was actually November 10th, 2016. Basically, I'm just trying to shoot a Portland Police Bureau from this parking structure, and they're, you know, using 40mm flashbangs to illuminate the top floor for some reason of the parking structure I'm on, and they're aiming less lethal at me, and I'm telling the cops that I'm holding a camera with both hands, and, you know, don't shoot me, basically. It's just a camera. Just absolutely ridiculous. I noticed, sorry, I'm sure you've noticed if you've been watching my YouTube channel for the last few months, actually a few weeks really, that I've been promoting Steemit very heavily. Steemit is a social network that allows the content creators to profit from their own work. And what I mean by that is Steemit is tied to a cryptocurrency called Steem. And basically when people re-Steem, which is the same as basically sharing a video on YouTube, when they re-Steem or if they like your post or if they upvote your post, you get this cryptocurrency, which you can later trade for fiat currency or other cryptocurrencies. So you're getting value from your work and your labor, which I find beautiful. I think this is revolutionary. If you're not on Steemit and you're a content creator, or if you're just somebody who posts to Facebook a lot and you post good posts, you know, you should be on Steemit because your work, your life energy is worth money to you. Why should you be profiting or making money for Mark Zuckerberg when he goes and sells all your data? Okay, so look, this is not advertising friendly. This is a video I shot where there was a protest a few months ago in Portland, Oregon, where there were 8 arrests, and 5 of them were all prominent cop watchers. This is my friend James Peach, a prominent, well-known cop watcher, a member of Film the Police Portland, being snatched off of the west side of the sidewalk after Portland Police Bureau ordered the protest to the west side of the sidewalk. yet they're still going to rush out and snatch speech. And I run it through in slow motion, and actually you hear the video of my good friend James Peach being pointed out by Portland Police Bureau for arrest. So, if you're producing media that's critical of, these gods in our society, which is the police, and police are basically force. They're the naked expression of force. But check this out. Here's a list of all the people that were arrested out of the 9. James Peach arrested, charges not found. Robert West, another prominent cop watcher, is still in jail right now, but not for this charge. Another arrest for contempt of cop. Robert West arrested, charges not filed. Sarah Long. Sarah was actually pushed down twice and pepper sprayed and arrested, but charges not filed. Okay, I was arrested. That made 5 of us, counting that guy, Benjamin Carenza, which was there as a serving in the capacity of police accountability as well. There was 6 of us arrested out of 8. Just effing ridiculous. Anywho, I digress. I'm talking about how I'm being economically ass-hammered by YouTube and Google. Moving on. I don't see how this video is not advertising friendly. Okay. So yeah, revenue enforcers, target accountability media. Moving on, scrolling down. Let's look at what else is not. Look, yellow, yellow, yellow. Demonetized, demonetized. Like I said before, I stopped counting at over 400 of my videos that have just been mass demonetized. Okay, so let's continue, shall we? Woman knocked down by flashbang grenade. Okay, I documented, corporate media was standing right there. The guy in the yellow shirt with the camera guy beside him, that's corporate media. See this woman here in the purple shirt I'm circling with the mouse? She was actually knocked down by a flashbang grenade on November 10th, 2016. I guess covering the police state, covering this crackdown on protesters in Portland, where I believe they're using breaching flashbangs, less lethal flashbang grenades at these protests. Or why would they have the force to knock people over? And I documented that very closely. And corporate media didn't cover this. Well, this is the kind of footage and the kind of media that, YouTube and Google are starving off of YouTube. This is so frustrating that I put so much of my life. And I've literally risked my life. When I covered Malheur, I had federal agents. When I covered the arrest of Pete Santilli and I drove around with him and his news crew, and we drove up to the edge of the FBI compound, I had federal agents aiming rifles at me to do my job as a police accountability activist. And like I said earlier, I do not care if you're right, left, or center. I care about people's civil rights, and I care about holding police accountability with the camera. Okay, that's my job. I have covered Ferguson in Missouri. I've covered the Occupy movement. I've been to riots and tumultuous protest all over the country over this past 6 years. I covered the Standing Rock Sioux tribes' resistance against the North Dakota Access Pipeline, No DAPL. I've covered all these things. I do not quibble over right and left. I am not a protester. I am a media outlet, stand alone. That's what I do. My media is biased and slanted in the direction of police accountability, but I do not have any qualms about letting people know that. So I just showed a video, I was blathering over it, but that was a kid that was shot with an FN 303. Well, I already talked about what that weapon is because I was shot with one a few months back in the arm. It's really funny. If you Google and watch the video on YouTube, Mike Blue Hair crying like a little girl, it's me in my anarchist ninja outfit, showing off my wound on my back because there was a marker die in the FN 303 round or whatever the hell they call those projectiles. Okay, here's a video where I was talking about Obama had all these protesters kidnapped and put in his basement. Basically, I was asserting the idea that, the protest movement en masse, for the most part, in the United States is owned by the left. The left can mobilize quite a few more people out into the streets in this country than the right can. That's just a fact of, our political situation here in the United States. Well, my idea was that, Obama had all these protesters in his basement for the last 4 or 8 years, just political satire. I don't see how that's not advertiser friendly. I mean, what the actual fuck? Here, yellow, 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 not advertising friendly, not advertising friendly. This is just disheartening. It's enough to make me almost, want to stick my head through a window, man. It's just pissing me off. Flashbang grenade injury remix edit. Okay, I covered people being knocked over quite a bit by these flashbangs. Here's a black fellow being carried away by what looks like somebody in block and another person in block and just regular Joe in a green hat. I show slow motion analysis of this flashbang knocking this person over at a protest. Guess what? That's the kind of thing that's no longer advertising friendly on YouTube. Like I said, there's a feeding frenzy of advertising dollars that are generated from when the corporate news covers these very same subjects. But the, anarcho capitalist like myself that's online, that's trying to make a living doing what I do, doing my passion, which is police accountability. Oh no, that's just not going to be allowed to happen if I would continue to depend on the advertising revenue that's generated from working within YouTube's model, which I am no longer going to do. Okay, the flashbang just exploded, and you see the guy falling over right there. Now I'll run through in slow motion, and you'll see the people carrying him off. Really funny, a KGW Channel 8 reporter was actually hit by less lethal at this protest, and guess what? The corporate media did not mention that. I'm going to, go off on a tangent here and talk about that because I just have to. Here is how corporate media is controlled by law enforcement to always make stories and always report things in a bias towards police. It's very simple. All police forces and all police bureaus have public information officers, and basically I call them the ministers of propaganda. Now, what these people do is they get the big bucks. The former minister of propaganda here in Portland, Oregon, Pete Simpson, used to make about $160,000 a year running their Facebook page and whatnot, and doing this. So here, to digress, here is how corporate media is dominated by a narrative that supports police. Okay. There's an economic incentivization that goes on between the advertisers, the editors, and the cops. Okay, if it bleeds, it leads, and that equals money. Okay, that's the oldest adage that they will tell you. You go to journalism school, and the day you get out of journalism school, and when you first start your fucking job, they're going to tell you this: if it bleeds, it leads. So yeah, anywho, right. So you're not going to get access as corporate media to that major news event, to that spree shooting, to the information about that guy that held someone hostage, unless the minister of propaganda or the public information officer gives you that information. So therein lies a mechanism, a very simple mechanism that slants corporate media in the direction of being very pro-law enforcement. You see, I am not bound by that kind of economic collusion. Therefore, I will produce and upload objectively. I even try to subdue my anti-authoritarian, my anarchist side when dealing with police. There's quite a few videos that I shoot and I upload and I talk about when police do good things, because a lot of times police are very well-intended people. I just believe that they're brainwashed into this system of dominance and submission, and we have societal problems that are, police are a symptom of these societal problems of state worship, statism. The new religion of the urban atheist just so happens to be, worship of the state. The state is the most awesome, goddamn powerful, scary religion that's perpetrating a, mass retardation of people's ability to have critical thinking from the time that they're children until they're, dead and in the grave. It's just really crazy. So here's a video I shot where cops actually inside a building told this man that it's okay to snatch and destroy Bob's camera. And, I guess that's not advertising friendly. When the police give someone free reign, police ask for help to steal camera or steal citizens' camera. Okay, just Google that, if you want to see what's not advertising friendly anymore. Here's a video. Okay, Portland police come to speak, stay for the beatings. I did I think it was like a 20 video playlist of interviews of people that were attacked by police after the mayor of Portland ordered everyone in City Hall to leave because he was supposed to let people talk about Portland Police Bureau's union contracts, and instead he handed out people little red tickets and said, well, you can go upstairs and talk about the debate of Portland Police Bureau union contract. It was a smorgasbord of all kinds of people, left, right, and center. Instead of letting people have their right to petition their government for redress of grievance, the mayor threw all those people out. And there was a lot of violence that day. I called it the Yom Kippur Stampede, just a lot of jokes about it. Anywho, there's a whole lot of violence, so I interviewed people. That's no longer advertising friendly. This is a video here, Police and the Broken Moral Compass. Okay, this is one of the most egregious civil rights violations I've ever seen, en masse. People were ordered by Portland Police Bureau through an LRAD, a crowd control weapon, a sound weapon, to go to the west side of the sidewalk. Oh, look at that. The people went to the west side of the sidewalk. Then Portland Police Bureau, in a phalanx of riot goons, decided to go up onto the sidewalk, shove, knock over, arrest, pepper spray, bully, and gaslight all these people on the sidewalk. Okay, when it's crazy making when Portland Police Bureau orders people to do something and when they comply, then they get attacked anyway. Here's my friend Ibrahim Mubarak and my friend Justin Kurtzen and myself escorting Ronson Corey, a man who had his arm fractured by Portland Police Bureau for standing on the sidewalk where he was ordered to go, and Portland Police Bureau were actually trying to take him away from us so that they could grandstand for the media cameras. These ambulance guys, the AMR guys, actually almost didn't let Ronson Corey's daughter get in the ambulance with him. I covered that story. I covered the story of Ronson. Okay, this guy was arrested for standing on the sidewalk where he was ordered to go. These are the kind of things that will no longer be supported economically on YouTube, just handing the narrative back to the corporate lords and masters that want to dominate the narrative and dominate consciousness and get back to those good old days before internet, that old time religion where they had hegemony. If you appreciate my years of work in police accountability, please go to Steemit and upvote and re-steam my post there. Okay, it's a way that you can economically support me and it doesn't cost you anything. When you click upvote, when you re-steam my post from Steemit, it costs you nothing. That's the glory of it. It actually creates a digital currency as I post and as more data moves through the blockchain. It's a beautiful thing. Moving on. Let's see. What else is no longer advertising friendly? Yellow mark, yellow mark, yellow mark. Okay, it's on a little screen when I'm doing this voiceover. Cop hunts for spider with AR-15. Okay, this is a lighthearted moment where my friend James Peach, whom you saw was being arrested just a little while ago, were filming some cops arrest, or actually they were investigating whether or not this car was stolen. So they cordoned off the area and they aimed AR-15 rifles at the people in the car. And it was a lighthearted moment where a cop was joking, but we heard him say, "Did you see the size of that thing?" So we asked him across the street, "What are you talking about?" And the cop was all skeezed out by a giant spider in the bush. you know, and you'll see the cop hold up his hand. Yeah, he's like, it was this big, you know. So I thought that was really funny. So I entitled the video, Cop Hunts Spider with AR-15, because a lot of cops actually have a good relationship with us cop watchers. They'll joke with us, you know, they understand that, you know, the accountability afforded by the camera protects both parties. Because if I'm filming a police interaction and the citizen lies and goes, that cop used pain compliance against me, or that cop hurt me, and it wasn't true, you know, the cop's going to be exonerated. And if the cop hurts the citizen, but same, you know, I'm going to be able to hold everyone accountable. Here's a video called Blue Egos Matter, where this cop is bullying a homeless woman. And, you know, basically she does curse at the cop, but I thought it was really funny that she stood up for herself. So no longer will you be able to, you know, see interactions where police are bullying people, you know, on the internet. It will be economically starved out of existence. Just more tyranny, more yellow marks. Strategic non-compliance. This is a podcast I was doing, which I'm going to be revitalizing soon. If you're a fan of my YouTube channel, look forward to more episodes of strategic non-compliance. And basically, I'm reaching out to other people in this podcast project where I interview them and talk to them about their non-compliance. I look for people that are not complying with the status quo, left, right, and center. I'll interview, you know, someone on the left or an anarcho-capitalist, you know, one day, and I'll interview a socialist the next day and talk about how they're not complying. Because I'm all about, you know, dialogue and trying to, you know, find the commonalities between all these various groups. You know, incidentally, there's a lovely video that talks about how people on, okay, sorry, I'll talk about that in a minute. But here's a video, Mike Bluehair arrested. This is a video with no cursing in it. It's just a video of Portland Police Bureau taking me into custody. Okay, I have no idea why this isn't advertising friendly. You know, it's really funny. Later, the cop actually jokes when they're booking me that he felt like I was a fairy princess when he was holding my hand as he slowly lowered me off the wall I was standing on to get better video footage, and I thought that was freaking hilarious. But anywho, so going back, so yeah, the video I was mentioning before is by Storm Clouds Gathering. It's called Revolution and Instruction Manual, and that video details out how people of various political ideologies can work together in tandem to bring down this system of tyranny. Because it's not red state, blue state. It's the state versus you. And until people can start gathering that salient fact in their minds and acting upon it, we are going into further and further tyranny, no matter what nation you live in this world. That's just a fact, Jack. So yeah, Storm Clouds Gathering, Revolution and Instruction Manual, burning the Blue Lives Matter flag. Okay, if you don't understand anything about Portland, Oregon and their local politics, I have to do a little bit of explanation. We are standing on the corner where James Chassie Jr. was murdered by Portland Police Bureau. A great video where you can learn about this, or documentary film, is Alien Boy, The Life and Death of James Chassie. So we were burning one of those desecrations of the American flags where the police have saw fit to wrap themselves in patriotism as phony right-wing cover to try to hide the fact that they're a gang in patriotism. That's all that Blue Lives Matter flag is. It's a gang symbol, in my humble opinion. Police are the most well-armed, well-equipped gang in the world. What they do is reinforce the status quo. Okay, here's a video series I did when I was at the Standing Rock Reservation in North Dakota. Me and Oompa Noopa were sitting there by the fire, and I did a series of conversations, you know, one of many conversations, two of many conversations with Oompa Noopa. I was basically talking about the Black Hills with him, getting history about how they're, you know, basically their creation story. The Lakota people believe that they originated from a cave under the Black Hills, and when that was taken from them, when the Black Hills was taken from them, you know, it was originally given to them by treaty. because it's their genesis. It's the most holy place where they came from. We also talked about the region and how it was flooded by the Army Corps of Engineers, and the fact that the North Dakota Access Pipeline was going through an area of unceded treaty land. Incidentally, here's one for you. You know how many treaties were honored by the United States with Native American people? Not one. Not one single treaty. But I digress. Okay, so I've gone through a lot of my content that you will no longer see, and you will no longer see similar content to mine. You will no longer see people, you'll no longer see people bucking the status quo if they're going to depend on this current economic paradigm. Like, upvote, and resteam my work. I don't have any quit in me. I'm not giving up, so I need you guys not to give up on me. Thanks for watching. Wow, this went over 35 minutes. This is crazy.